Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Mystery of Ravensburg Academy. If you've watched the previous episode, you kind of know what's going on here, but for those of you that don't know, this is a little gothic horror mini-series that I'm running with a bunch of other groups and a bunch of other people. That's just fun little mystery games taking place in this quirky little universe where monsters go to college. Um, so we begin our story at Ravensburg Academy, the overcast day, as it always is. Pretty chilly. You've just gotten back from spring break. Um, you would know that your roommate stayed on campus over spring break,
Eek.
didn't go home for various reasons, but you two did, and you've come back and you're in the middle of unpacking. Um, when you get an announcement. There's an announcement that kind of wafts over campus. You would know this is Thalassa. She is the headmistress, the dean of the school, and she does have the power to basically make an announcement across the entire campus through special magical items. But she makes an announcement. Good morning, everybody. Please come to the Ravensburg Theater immediately. We are having a mandatory all-student meeting. I will also say that you notice as you get into your dorm, there is a half-done puzzle on the dining room table, but you do not see your roommate. Of course, your roommate being Tiberius Cacklebranch, a green hexblood, a green hag hexblood, who of course loves puzzles and has been working towards a historical preservation major that he talks about constantly. But you do not see him there.
That's odd because he's such a homebody. He stays in all the time. Little
Yes,
geek
he
boy.
he definitely is.
Mhm.
Got to finish those puzzles and read all those books.
But
Right.
he's not there, right?
He is not there at the moment. No.
No.
It is probably about 11 o'clock. So there's a possibility that he's out for lunch or something like that.
Right. To
Okay.
be honest, I don't think I don't really particularly pay any attention to it. There's a new puzzle on the table. There's a new puzzle every week or so. But I say hi to you. Hey man, how was break?
Uh, it was good. I just, you know, relaxed. How was it for you?
I mean, I went back to my creator, tried to impress him with my that I made it onto the lead roster of the fencing team, but it seems like he doesn't really think that I should be pursuing that I should be fencing at all. He's a bit like Tiberius actually. He's a bit of a dork. He wants me to do more chemistry stuff, but whatever. Um,
Makes
yeah.
sense. He's
Want
afraid
to
he's
go
gonna
to
have to
the
replace a part.
huh?
He's afraid he's gonna have to replace a part on you.
Must be some old geek trauma. Who
Yeah.
knows? Yeah, that's not for
Well,
me to sort out.
yeah. So we probably need to head to wherever the announcement said, right?
Right, yeah, let's go to the assembly hall. Sure.
All right.
So you make your way over to the Ravensburg Theater. Um, this was where you took basically freshman orientation. When you came in for the first time, it's where you got your housing, it's where you got your class schedule. It's probably where you learned a lot about how some of the classes work and that sort of thing. So it's a familiar sight. You probably only saw it about maybe 8 months ago at most. Um, and as you file into the theater, this theater is packed. You have to cram your way past all kinds of other monsters, tritons, vampires, werewolves, other gargoyles, just trying to make your way over to just any seat. And finally, after about maybe 10 minutes or so, everybody gets settled in. You see on the stage, there are a few professors, um, and a podium that has been set up. And you watch as Thalassa, a Triton woman, very tall, dresses in flowy wizard robes. You would know she's a transmutation wizard. She comes out and, well, welcome back from spring break, everyone. We do have some news to share. First up on the docket is, and she launches into basically promotions, class changes, cancellations, other such things. It's pretty boring. I'm not sure how much you all would pay attention to it. Probably about half an hour before we do have some sadly unfortunate news. We had already had a death earlier this year. I'm sure you were all aware. However, it seems that there has been a second death on campus. It is currently being investigated. However, we assume that no classes will need to be canceled. You will be attending classes as normal. Those of you that knew the student will be offered counseling should you need it. So we will also be having a moment of silence for our fallen student to remember them, and hopefully this investigation will go quickly. The student's name was Tiberius Cacklebranch. It seems he was murdered over, we suspect, foul play. However, we are unaware of any current suspects. And so if there are any leads that any student may come across, please report them immediately. We will have our moment of silence, and then we will release you all to go back to your dorms for classes to start tomorrow. And she takes a step back and for about 30 seconds just lets silence hang in the air before she goes back up to the podium. Thank you all. You are released. And at this moment, everyone, students just begin getting up and walking away. The air is very solemn at this moment.
So, a question. So, since this is like fantasy world and there's like a whole bunch of monsters, that's not like common? Would you say that deaths and disappearances are about as common as they are now in like our world, or?
Yeah, I mean, it is a world of monsters, so monsters fight, monsters do things to each other. It's not incredibly cutthroat. It has calmed down since the early days, thousands of years ago, but deaths still happen, murders still happen. So this was just, it is possible, and it does happen.
Okay.
Right. I stick around and try to get your attention. Like, did Tiberius talk about anything with you before
Um,
break?
Not that I'm aware of. He just, was doing his puzzles like normal, and we just kind of left, said goodbye. There wasn't anything that I saw, but maybe we could go back to our room and see if there's any like clues or like, because I feel like we should, kind of figure out who killed him or like where he
Yeah,
is.
yeah,
He's dead.
yeah, for sure. It's just, I didn't really talk to him that much. I mean, I like him. I wouldn't want him to die, but uh, it's just who would want him? Who would want to kill him? Like he just minded his own business. Uh,
Yeah, poor guy just wanted to do puzzles.
yeah, I mean, I think wasn't he like in the chess club or the academics club or the math leads? Some like every Thursday he'd be out, right?
Yeah, but I
You
think that
would
was about
know that he was actually at a kind of work study. He was working with seniors on their historical preservation project since he's been gunning for that major. And so that was the sort of lab time that he was allotted to go and work, was that Thursday.
Okay. But yeah, for sure, let's head back and see if you left anything we could share with the teachers.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
We head back.
Yep. Yep. You head on back to your dorm. And yeah, his room is unlocked. The door is open. It seems like this must have been very recent because his life looks like it was just put on pause. Like he just stepped out to lunch, and just never came back from lunch.
So we all have our separate rooms.
Yes, you all have your separate rooms. I'm not sure how much you two would use them, being a gargoyle and Frankenstein's monster, but you do have them. They are available to you. They're pretty samey, undecorated. They just have a bed, a wardrobe, a chest, and a desk. Um, Maybe a chair and a stool, just to be furnished and have some functionality to it.
Right.
Tiberius definitely hung up a lot of his puzzles. Once he finished them, he, glue them down and put them in frames and hang them up on the wall. So there's a lot of puzzles up on the wall. He has a lot of puzzles stacked up. He also has.
But like he broke them. He can't do them again ever. What a quirky little guy.
Yeah, he also has.
Okay. Can I go through his chests and stuff to see if there's anything of note?
Sure, give me an investigation check.
Okay. I'm super good at that.
Having an intelligence of 8.
Right. I rolled a 2. So 2 minus
1
yeah.
is 1.
Mm-hmm.
You open the chest and look inside. And there's some clothes that he has in there. And he also evidently must have spilled a puzzle in there. And so you're just picking out all of the pieces and looking at these pieces individually as if one of them might hold a clue.
All
And you
right.
probably
Oh, this is an edge bid. Yeah. This one is blue. I'll put that here. And this one is slightly more blue. Same pile. Okay.
you watch as Adam just starts doing the puzzle that's spilled in the chest.
Okay. Now, does the half of the puzzle in the chest match what was on the table outside?
No, it doesn't.
Puzzle? No, it's a different puzzle. Okay.
It's a different puzzle. So if you would like to make an investigation check, Goliath, you certainly may.
Yeah. Is there any other does he have any other like chests or things to open in his room?
There's definitely the wardrobe. There's also his desk that has a lot of papers on it and books on it, if you want to go through that.
Yeah, let's go through his desk just to see if there's any like notes about where he would have been, while we were gone, if there's any, he had a schedule or anything. Okay. So intelligence.
Yes. It should be under your skills. It should say like right next to investigation, because if you're proficient in it, you get some extra stuff.
Okay. And yeah, I just get +1
Okay.
on investigation.
Yep.
All right. So what's the die? Is it
D20.
D20? Okay.
Yeah. Skill checks, attack rolls, saving throws are all D20 plus whatever your modifier is.
Ooh. Okay.
While you're doing that, I counted it fit. I feel so accomplished.
I got a 1 +1 is 2.
Oh my goodness. This is
So
starting off
good.
so well.
We're really good at looking at things.
Um, Actually, I'm going to roll something just because I'm trying to save you here.
Okay.
Yep. Okay. Sitting right in the middle of his desk is his diary. Just his journal. You start opening up and you start reading from page one.
Oh, that's messed up. That's messed up. You shouldn't read his diary.
Oh, he's dead. We have to read his diary.
You can't.
Yes, I have to.
It's private stuff, man.
I need to know
It's
what's
like,
going
he
on.
put his brain in there for him to keep. You can't
Well,
just
that's
take
the
his,
only place that's left. He's dead, apparently.
like, if, I mean, did they
Who's
find
gonna
a
care?
body? Isn't he
Well, they
just
know he's
missing?
dead. No, they said he was dead. It was the second death that they found, but they suspect foul play, but they don't know. So I figured if like, anywhere is like leading up to like, maybe somebody killing him, he might have written down maybe in the last couple pages of his entry,
But
his
wouldn't he
journal.
like, he wouldn't be writing while he was being killed, would he?
Not while
He'd be
he's
too
being
busy
killed, but
being stabbed or whatever.
maybe there was an incident that happened, like the day before, that might have like,
Oh, right. Okay,
something,
yeah. Okay.
might lead to something that happened to
Makes
his death.
sense.
Yeah. So I
Okay.
would like to read the last couple pages of his diary.
Right.
All right.
Sure.
Yep. You flip over to the last couple of pages and you read through it. It's kind of him venting about one of the seniors that he's working with, by the name of Logan Zilch. Um,
Hmm.
you get the sense that Tiberius might have an overinflated idea of his role on the project, but Logan definitely has the wrong idea about why he's there as well. Because Logan seems to think that he's there just to get the group coffee and all of that stuff, like a low-level intern, whereas Tiberius seems to think that he's actually contributing to the project, that his name is going to be on the paper or whatever, and he's frustrated that he's not being seen as an equal, that he's basically constantly being sent to go fetch coffee and, you know, baked
Okay, so
goods or
Tiberius wanted to
meals.
murder Logan,
Well, he
and
just had
then Logan killed him in self-defense, maybe.
maybe,
No?
or maybe he, got tired of the way Logan was treating him and he, snapped back and that led to, something more
Logan
along.
sounds super uptight, yeah.
Yeah.
There's also another person that is mentioned, um, a snarl, that's put in quotation marks, Darkon, a werewolf that is on the rugby team that apparently likes to pick on him in class. It seems that they have a math class together, and he's constantly complaining about how this guy hasn't left high school, he needs to move on, that kind of stuff. However, as you get to the end, there are 3 pages that look like they have been sliced out of this diary, and they are nowhere to be found. There is
It's
the
like,
last entry that was 5 days ago, if the date is correct, and then three like little scraps of paper in the
Right.
binding of the book, and then a blank page.
Can we see if it's like cut out or ripped out or like
It looks like it's been cut out. It looks like what he did was he took the pages and took a letter opener or a knife and just or scissors or something and just sliced directly through the paper like he was like cutting wrapping paper or something. The paper on this diary is pretty thin. It's not like a cardstock or anything. It's just like a cheap journal. So he was able to
mhm.
just slice the pages out,
okay.
or
Okay.
somebody else was
What
slicing
was
the
his
pages out.
what was his bully's name?
Uh Snarl
Snarl?
Darkon. You don't know his real first name because Snarl
Okay.
is put in quotation marks and it's definitely a nickname.
Okay. Well, I mean, I say that we go talk to Snarl first, and then maybe to Logan to see if like obviously, Snarl is not going to give us much, but we can see if he like has anything to say, if he gives himself away, if he did do anything. And then Logan definitely is probably worth talking to, just or their group project, to see like when's the last time they saw him.
I don't know, man. I think like Logan sounds like such a douche. Could we go talk to the group about like how they feel about Logan and if they maybe just if they knew where Tiberius was? Because like I don't want to be yeah, I don't want to hear anything from Logan just yet, at least. He's
Okay.
a liar.
Well, hopefully Logan's not with the group.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. But
But
maybe
can
we can just go see if they, kind of know anything, maybe the last whereabouts
yeah, I
of
mean
like
maybe
where he
so
was.
these type of people they would have spent their spring break here too, right? Doing puzzles or whatever these type of people do.
Probably working on the project that they're working on.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
cool.
let's over. Do you know where he did his thing? Like and like I mean it's every Thursday, right? And it's Monday now, so it would be empty. But yeah, let's head over anyway.
Okay, maybe the meeting place is, if it's every Thursday, it's probably on this calendar somewhere, right? Written
Right.
down like where they're meeting, or maybe we can look on a Thursday entry of the last journal and see if it's written there where they meet.
Right. Do I need to investigate to find that in his journal?
No, I'm going to say that you have an idea of how to navigate this journal.
Okay.
Totally not because you all rolled ones. But yeah, you kind of flip back to the previous Thursday. It doesn't really say anything about a specific meeting location. Like I went to blank. Um,
But he
but
must have like a class schedule or something, is what I'm thinking. Like that was what I was asking, actually.
okay, yeah, you would probably need to do an investigation check on the desk if you want to find like a class schedule or something.
Sure. Yeah, I love
Um,
rolling dice. I want to find that schedule. Okay. 7 minus 1 is 6.
you find a receipt for the toil and trouble. It has a few items on it, a few like it is dated for a Thursday. So it has, like a few croissants, a few bagels, a few cups of coffee, um, with various different things in it.
Oh,
Um,
okay, Goliath. I found a clue. I found a clue. I found a clue. So, like, he likes bagels. Did you know he liked bagels?
No, I
That's
didn't know he liked
suspicious.
bagels.
Um, we can go to the Toilet and Trouble and see like which bagels he liked, because maybe Logan poisoned the bagels to get back at him for writing things in the diary, and then he went to our room to cut out the pages to hide his trail.
How would he know that he wrote something about him in his own diary?
I don't know, man. Like these math people, they're so sneaky.
And how would he poison the bagels that are made at the place if he sends him to go get them himself?
Like that's what we
Yeah.
need to investigate.
Okay, so we can head to the toilet and trouble and see if, like, they saw
I mean,
anything
it's right
else.
here in his along with his other papers of like what he's like his schedule. Like, why would it be there? It's not important. It's a clue. It must be a clue.
Okay, well, let's figure it out. You know, let's investigate it. So, do you want to head to the toilet and trouble, or do you want to keep on like searching his room for anything else?
I mean, I could go for a
Because
bagel right now.
there's a wardrobe that we still have to search.
You can go through his s- clothes. I mean, he's not gonna
Clothes.
wear them anymore. I guess we need to get him something for his funeral.
The wardrobe's okay, but the journal is like an iffy thing. I would like to go through his wardrobe.
all right, roll me an investigation check.
Okay. 10, or no, sorry, 7. Girl, we're doing great with these rolls.
Love
There's
this
20
group.
sides. 20 sides to the die.
I know. So yeah, you go through his clothes. A lot of it is like cardigans, sweaters, sweater vests. Um, he does like a good Argyle pattern.
Okay.
There's a
Huh.
few shoes that he has. Um, not very many pants, but lots of sweaters. And that's basically everything you find in there.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm down to head to the toilet and trouble if you'd like to leave this room.
Yeah, man, and like what? Yeah, let's go to Town Trouble. Like, yeah, I could
Okay.
use a snack. Like all this thinking is making my head hurt, and I made a puzzle. Look, I put these two pieces together and everything. Like I'm
Yeah, we've done a lot of work. We need a little break.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
All
they'll,
right.
maybe like the worker, we can see who worked there on the Thursday where he was last there. See if they saw anything.
Right. Okay. Sounds like a plan.
All right. So you head over to the Toil and Trouble. It is a small sort of coffee. It's almost a coffee stand rather than a coffee shop. It is just big enough for the kitchen that like 2 or 3 workers can fit in. Um, and there's a few tables out on the sidewalk, only about 3 with like 2 or 3 chairs each. It's a very small place, but it is very popular. It is getting up to be lunchtime, so there's about a 5 or 6 person line there of people just waiting for food. It is staffed by students. You would know it's staffed by students. So there's a few students that are working there. The one that is taking orders seems to be a werewolf as well. You don't know his name, but he doesn't look like he'd be on the rugby team. And he's just taking orders.
Okay.
Right. Okay.
Do they,
So I mean, we go in line, right? Should we
or do
should
they
we
have a
plan
manager?
this?
Huh?
Like, do you want to be good cop or bad cop?
Um, I'll be the good cop. I was thinking like if they have a manager, we could talk to the manager and see, because I'm sure the worker is not going to know, like who worked last Thursday when he like grabbed his stuff. I mean, they might, but I there would know more. Do they have a manager or is it just student run?
It is entirely student run.
Okay.
Um,
I mean, but the
So
wolf guys, he's the biggest one. He must be in charge. Like, look at him.
he doesn't play in the rugby team now, so I'm assuming he's a nerd or someone who has a smaller frame.
yeah, he's not that big at all.
Okay,
It's
dude.
probably like average size.
For a werewolf.
Um, yeah,
I,
for a
I
werewolf, average size. Not like runt of the litter, but not like I'm the alpha.
Yeah.
It's kind of in the middle.
okay. All of this is still making me a bit peckish.
Hungry.
I go to the line. I go to the line to order something.
Yeah, it's surprisingly quick. These people are whipping orders out the window. A lot of this stuff seems to be not really like pre-made, but sort of made in anticipation of being ordered. Um, and so you get up to the counter and the werewolf kind of leans out. All right, what do you all want?
Hey man, can I get I pick up the receipt and read aloud read what it said.
Oh,
Like it said 2 bagels, right? And a croissant and 2 coffees to go. And what are you getting, Goliath?
oh, I don't eat or drink anything, so I'm good. I
Okay.
just came for the ride and
Yeah.
to ask him if he knew of anybody working last Thursday that would have just who was working last Thursday, if he knows that.
Well, I generally work morning shifts. I ended up switching from evening shift to morning shift, so I've been working morning shifts. That order does sound really familiar. Can I see that receipt?
Yeah, man, of course. It's for my project team class. Here you go.
Takes it and looks at it. So you're taking over for Tiberius. And there's kind of this solemn energy that kind of, well, um,
He was nice, wasn't he?
yes, and it was a shame that he was working in that group. They did not treat him very nicely. Well, I'll get your stuff bagged up and I'll put a meal swipe on their accounts and we'll head from there. And you watch as
Yeah,
he goes and he gets the bagels into the bag, the croissant. He starts pouring the coffee and putting like the different things into the coffee. All right, tell them that I'm putting the meal swipe on their account. Is there anything else that you need?
um,
Does he
um,
know like possibly where they had met? Like he kind of seems to know about the group
yeah,
and
man,
how they.
yeah. So like, I mean, was he? You were here during spring break, right?
Yep, I was.
Oh,
Um,
that's tough, man.
no, you
Was it
know, family drama and all that.
right? Right. Was like, did Tiberius hang out with anyone? Like, did he like? I mean, sometimes we let him go by himself, and other times we like sometimes he messes up our orders and stuff. So we try to you know we have to go along with him. Otherwise, like my coffee will be with oat milk instead of real milk, and I hate that.
I do know that he was hanging out with, oh, what is her name? B
B was it
B B B Morta, I think.
oh B like Lil B. Yeah,
BEA, I
yeah,
think.
we're totally
It
friends.
was
We're
short for
totally
something. I don't
friends.
remember what it was.
We're totally yeah, 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 yeah.
But yeah, he'd come with he never came with her when he was ordering for the group, but he'd come with her sometimes. And yeah, just seems like a nice, sweet tiefling girl. I don't know if I don't think they were dating. I mean, she seemed out of his league,
Oh,
but
you said it.
I mean, she just seems like they were good friends and would get lunch together a lot. Uh, that's about it.
Can you tell us anything else about B Morta? Do
Nope.
you know what grade she's in?
I think she's also a freshman.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry to keep the line up, my man. You did you want to ask anything, Goliath? Or you sure you don't need any snacks?
Yeah, no snacks for me. I would though. So you see these, you see the group and how he treats them. Did you see like personally how he was being treated, or did you just talk to Tiberius and get that information from him?
I just talked to Tiberius. They just used him like a personal assistant. Um, they stayed over at the artifact lab and stayed there basically the whole time. They didn't really want to be interrupted on their project.
Okay, so now we have a location. All right, cool. Maybe we should head to the artifact lab to see if, maybe they're there or somebody who's working there might know the times that they meet up. And they might need their coffee and their snacks.
I mean, I need that, but yeah, for sure. I'm mulching down stuff while we head over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you would know where the artifact lab is. It's one of those that's actually in the castle. And it's actually down in the dungeon where the previous vault was when Victor Ravensburg was in the castle. It's where they keep all of the various magical items that pop up around the land that are historically significant to various events. And of course, that'd be where students would work on projects on preserving them and things of that nature. So as you go down the sort of spiral, the wide spiral staircase down into basically the dungeons, um, you head into the front office of this place. It's kind of a very large room with two stories, but there's a sort of hole in the middle. There's a lot of desks everywhere that have clearly been moved in here. A lot of chemical stuff like alchemical alembics and glass vials and cauldrons and things like that in here, as well as just items all over the walls. Hung up harps, swords, instruments, scrolls, books, other things like that, all displayed. Um, as well as there are a few students that are working. However, there is, you would probably recognize her, just because Tiberius has talked about her so much over the course of his project. A mummy by the name of Seshat Fayek. She is not a professor, but she kind of manages the artifact lab as well as the artifacts themselves. Um, and she is kind of walking around the floor, looking at the students that are working and kind of pointing out things. Um, and she looks up and she sees you and she kind of walks over with a really confused look on her face, as much as a face covered in bandages can look confused. And hello, how can I help you?
Hey, Shasha. Miss Shasha. Madam Shasha. Do you prefer Miss or Madam?
You can call me madam. How can I help you? I don't recognize you from classes or work study, anything like that.
Yeah, man, we're taking over kind of a bit. We headed to the coffee place. Do you want coffee, madam?
Not particularly. I'm not a coffee person. Um, are you trying to meet with one of the students?
Yes. You would know him. I mean, actually, we're trying to avoid one of the students. We wanted to we heard this Logan guy has been acting up a bit, and we wanted to hear if that's what that's all about. We wanted to like ask his buddies about how he's doing. I'm trying, yeah.
I would need you to make a deception check at that point because that was not entirely true. So deception check, please.
Okay. Let's see. Oh, I'm better at this. 17 plus 1.
It's for an 18. All right.
Mhm.
Oh, finally, something
I
above
know.
10.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to do an investigation of anything. So I'm not even sure I am trying to deceive someone or making it up as I go. But yeah. But I guess this is a success, isn't it? Well, you decide, Mr. DM.
Yes, it certainly is a success. Uh, well, yes. The Logan is one of the students that he is very ambitious, and sometimes that gets in his way of his ability to work with teammates. He also likes to be in control of his projects. Um, and so him and Tiberius, I'm assuming you are speaking about him, given the recent death of the student. Um, and then, well,
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
I
Ye-
figured.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. He was our roommate, actually.
And there's the connection. Okay. Yes. If you would like to speak to the group members, I will allow it. Just please do not touch anything.
So are the group members here right now?
There are two of them. They are working on their own parts of the project, um, or at least of their projects as well. They kind of all help each other out. That's why they are in groups. Um,
Oh, right, right, right. Yeah.
so there
Who,
is
who,
Aspen Whittle, and she points over to a scarecrow, who is leafing very carefully through a book, and then of the really, really old book, and then writing stuff down in a journal. And then there is Constance Hackleberry, and she points over to a gray hexblood with long black hair and sort of a thorny branches all in her hair, wearing a black dress. You notice instantly as she is kind of investigating a harp. Um, she's carefully painting lacquer back onto a harp. But you notice her bag that she has sticking out of her bag seems to be a wooden puppet of some kind. Um, as well as some wood carving tools have kind of dropped onto the floor from her bag, just kind of being thumped right by her desk. They
Mhm.
are the two people who worked with Logan and Tiberius. Um,
What about Snarl? Isn't he around?
I don't recognize that name.
Hmm. That's odd.
Maybe last name Darkon? Anybody with last name Darkon?
Not anyone that works here or
Okay.
takes any classes here. Um, I
Okay.
do not recognize that name.
So
Right.
I'd say that we go talk to the two,
Yeah,
the
because they're
hex
together,
brothers.
right?
Yeah, just to see if, they might know anything or react in a certain way that would, give us a clue as to where we can investigate further.
And I mean, Constance is also a hexblood, right? So she must feel something towards Tiberius. Yeah,
Possibly.
yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Let's
let's go
go.
talk.
And we still have like lukewarm coffee for them if they'd like.
You didn't drink it all.
No, I ate. I was hungry. I wasn't thirsty.
So you ate all the baked goods but didn't drink the coffee.
No.
No coffee for him.
All right. So yep, you head on over to the two of them. They are at this moment sitting at different tables as they're clearly doing two completely different things. Um, so which one are you heading to first?
Let's head to Constance. Just because she might
Hmm.
have a little bit more connection with him.
All right. So you head over to Constance as she's still painting, and she kind of looks up a little surprised. Um, Hi. What? I'm sorry. Are you like journalism students or
I wish. Hey, you want any coffee?
uh no, thank you, not now. Um,
Okay, it's like we wanted to do it as like a parting gift from Tiberius, kind of. Like he used to get this order for you guys. But I ate the bagel, sorry. Um,
well, that was Logan's idea. He didn't really like Tiberius. I mean, he was annoying to be fair, but like
I mean, Tiberius or Logan?
Tiberius. Logan is a different kettle of fish altogether. But Tiberius was definitely motivated. Um, definitely wanted to achieve things, and he was helpful. He knew quite a lot about some techniques, but he was definitely a little green for my liking. I'm not quite sure why he was assigned to our group,
Is that
but
a Hexblood thing, that joke that we're not getting?
no, green means new. Like
Oh, right. Okay.
anyway, but yeah, he was a bit of a newbie, and I personally thought he needed some more classroom experience before he started working here, but Madame Fayek made her decision, and it's only till the end of the year, so thought I might as well stick it out. But yeah, that really that's all I got on him.
Do you know the last time that you saw Tiberius?
Well, it was last Thursday when he got the order. Um, I know that the two of them were button heads quite hard. Um, he had some ideas about one of the, well, to fill you in, Logan's project is on musical instruments of historic significance found in the valley. He was going through an unidentified lot of instruments that were found up in the wasteland in one of the castles that had been abandoned. Um, he was trying to see if there was any historic value. Of course, there always is, but if there was a significant lost
All
instrument
right,
that
right.
had come back. Um,
Was it like a guitar or lute or like one of those violins? Do you know?
no, the instrument that, well, there were quite a lot of instruments. There was a full-on harpsichord that was brought back. There was some mandolins and lutes and things of that nature. But there was one instrument that the two of them ended up butting heads on. Logan believed that the flute that they'd found was of no historic significance, and he was more focusing on the harpsichord. Um, but Tiberius was convinced that this thing was highly magical, um, and possibly dangerous. And that was the fight that they got into, and then all that was that.
Do you know where Logan is? Have you seen him recently?
I don't really keep track of his schedule. He's probably in another one of his history classes. Um, I don't know which one. Um,
Are you guys
but
okay in
I
general?
mean
Like with you did hear about Tiberius, right?
yeah, I mean we didn't really know him that well. He came in with a lot of ideas, and Logan shut him down pretty quick, and he got pretty angry, and Logan was using him as a personal assistant. We kind of gave up fighting him on that one. But I mean, it's a bummer for sure. But I mean, I didn't know him well enough to be heartbroken, but I wish he was still alive.
Okay.
Just like I
Well,
wish anyone was still alive.
well, I think
Right.
that I think that we've gotten as much as we could out of um Constance. We could go check out the other girl to see if she knows more information about the Flute and Logan.
Yeah,
Because
because
I have
she
a
was
feeling that,
missing.
huh?
Nothing. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I have a feeling that the Flute has something to do with it. Maybe he's not dead. Maybe he found something out about the Flute and it transported him somewhere. Or,
I mean, it seemed a bit vulgar if we were to go and ask the headmistress if, like, what does his body look like, or like, did they find a? But then again, like, it would be nice to know if,
they did find a body.
yeah,
Well, since we're here, let's just go talk to the other member to see if she knows anything, or he or they.
Aspen, right?
Yes, Aspen Whittle. Um, yeah,
He's
she is
just
a
aware of
scarecrow
Shadowfell.
and she is working on a book that she has kind of laid out over the table.
Okay. Um, I don't know so much about musical instruments and stuff, or like history, but maybe you should handle this one.
Yeah, that's fine. So I want to go talk to Aspen. I'm going to offer her one of the coffees since we just have them and we can't get rid of them. Apparently, nobody likes drinking coffee other than on a Thursday of last week.
Yeah. So yeah, you approach Aspen, her sort of eternally frozen, smiling pumpkin head kind of just turning back and forth as she's scanning the pages before she pulls out her quill and writes a few things on the paper. And yeah, you approach her and she kind of turns in, "Oh my, um, I'm sorry. Who are you?"
My name is Goliath. I'm just a student here on campus, and we're just checking up on our friend and just wondering where he was. Um, Logan. So I want to persuade her that we're Logan's friend.
All right. Hmm. Yeah, you know what? You can roll either persuasion or deception for that one, since you
Okay,
literally don't know Logan at all.
at all. But my persuasion is +6. So
All right.
I got a 10.
So
So
that's a
plus,
16.
no, I got a 4 +6. So I got a 10.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm doing great with the rolls.
Okay. It's the way the cookie crumbles
Mhm.
sometimes.
Yeah, it is.
Well, I'm surprised he had freshman friends. You look like freshmen. Um,
Well, I wouldn't really say friends, but more acquaintances. He, since Tiberius is gone, uh, he needs somebody else to get his coffee and his food for him. So I got it for him. He just didn't tell me where he was going to be.
well, don't encourage him. That's all I'll say. So I'm sorry. I actually don't drink coffee. It was only Logan and Constance that drank coffee, but anyway, I would advise not encouraging him. He's one of those people that once he gets an idea, he runs with it no matter what, and that's caused problems. Um, as I'm sure you know, being the roommate of Tiberius, yeah, once he gets an idea stuck in his head, he runs with it, and it's very hard to get it out. Um, so just don't grab coffee for him again, okay? It's just not going to be great for the dynamic of the group. Anyway, so I'm assuming you have
Did Tiberius
questions.
talk about us?
Not
So,
really. He just kind
but
of
you know
mentioned,
we're his roommates.
yeah, it kind of clicked. I mean, well, you're asking about him, and he did
No one
mention that
else
he
came?
was rooming with a gargoyle. So I kind of assumed that, well, Well, sometimes assumptions pay off, sometimes they don't. But I kind of assumed once you started talking about Tiberius and kind of connected the dots. Um, but I mean, what do you want to know?
Well, obviously Logan and Tiberius didn't get along. We heard that they, might have been fighting over some instruments or the project that they were doing. Constance mentioned something about a flute that they had found.
Oh, yes. Um, yes, it was a flute. Um, it was a very pretty flute. It was wood, and then it transitioned to crystal. It was a very pretty flute. Um, but Logan thought it was not important, and Tiberius did, and the two of them fought about it. I kind of tried to just stay out of it and stay on my side of the table. Um, but yeah, that's the last fight that they had before Tiberius disappeared.
That was on
And
Thursday.
then yes, that was on Thursday. I don't think he disappeared on Thursday, but he did leave early. Uh, Probably just to go back home. The two of them, yeah, they
Uh,
butted heads a lot.
when you say home, do you mean like back to our dorms, or do you mean was he heading home?
No, just back to the dorms.
Okay, right.
Okay, well, thank you so much. Thanks for
Um,
your time.
oh, I will say, I nearly forgot. He did have um, Tiberius did have a friend that he mentioned that he would hang out with sometimes. Um, I don't know if you're aware of a Lou Kelp. Um,
No, we haven't heard of her. So
well,
you used to hang out with a friend named Luke Kelp.
yes, he is working in the greenhouses. And they used to meet there sometimes. I assume they're friends. I don't know if they're anything else. I mean, he would meet them. He would meet Lou there at the greenhouses, um, but not always. And they had different majors, so I'm not sure if they talked about anything. I don't know. But just that might be another person who knows something.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Well, thank you so much. So since we're in the artifact lab and they are working on artifacts, maybe did the instruments that they have, were there something that they checked out or just something that they only looked at in the artifact room? Like, could we go see what they were working on, or is it something that they take home with them?
No, it stays here. Yeah, I can definitely take you over. Of course, as long as you don't touch anything, you don't have your any certifications or anything like that, but I can certainly take you over to it. Um, and she kind of leads you over. It is a long walk. You walk all the way to the back, um, where there are some sort of almost closets that have been built into the back wall. And there's one that has they all have like these sheets, these chalkboards on them, and written is like lot 75 with a student name or lot 70 whatever with a student name on it. And you see there is a lot 81 with Logan Zilch's name on it. You also see a lot 85 for Aspen, and you also see a lot 91 for Constance. And there's a few other students on there, but they have this room, and there's like one other student in there and whatever. And she takes out a big old iron key and unlocks the padlock and opens the door. There is immediately you see this, it looks kind of like an upright piano, but you assume that's the harpsichord. There's also a few lutes and mandolins that are stacked on shelves. As you walk in, it's very clearly someone has done some sort of magic to make sure that it remains relatively cool in here. Um, and she walks over and, well, this is the instruments that Logan was working on, as well as some of his equipment. The flute in question is, and she pulls out a very long box, is right here, and she opens the box. Inside the box, there is a velvet lining with a space that is the shape of a flute and no flute in the box.
Aha.
Interesting.
Oh,
Is there supposed to be something in the box?
yes, there's supposed to be the
Something in the
flute in
flute?
the box.
Are you guys able to check out these items, or do they usually need to stay here within the room?
No, they stay here. The artifacts lab is for artifacts, and they need to be kept in, some of these need to be kept in temperature controlled environments in order to prevent them from degrading farther. I don't know why the flute would be missing. It was here last Thursday. I know that for a fact. It was
Mhm.
there, and I remember Logan put it away after Tiberius left.
Interesting. Why would Logan be touching it if he didn't see any relevance to the flute?
Well, it's still part of his lot. He still needs to make sure that the flute doesn't degrade. Um, but I mean, everything has historical significance. Perhaps it was a sort of reference as to what the style of instruments might have been, or um, a could be used to diagram different methods that were used, specifically because it was half crystal. It may not have been historically significant as in played by a famous person, but it's still significant enough to include in the lot and to keep. I don't know why it's missing.
Interesting.
That is weird.
It is weird. So
Is
we
is Logan is Logan missing too, or is he just not, no?
No,
When did you
as
see
far as I'm
Logan last
aware,
time?
well, we don't really see each other on any day, but just because of our schedules. But on the lab days, but I, we weren't informed that he was missing. We weren't informed that he was dead. He must still be alive, around, or we would have heard something.
and the last time you saw Logan was on Thursday after the incident
Yes,
with the flute? Okay.
yes. Tiberius left early. Logan stayed the full 2.5 hours, and then he put the flute away, locked it up, and when we locked up all of our artifacts and went home.
Hmm.
Right. Did Logan ever talk about his roommates?
He mentioned that he had two of them, Gargoyle and Frankenstein's monster, of course, but not really.
Oh,
If
but
you're
that's
wondering if he said anything negative about you, he hasn't. He's just mentioned that you
oh
existed.
oh yeah. I mean, we didn't talk much, but I was curious about Logan's roommates.
Oh, I'm not sure who Logan's roommates are. He didn't really talk about them at all. He was very sort of school oriented, driven, project based. If it didn't have anything to do with the
Okay.
project, he didn't want to talk about it.
I just
Okay.
think Logan is such a weird guy, and I want to see like obviously you guys feel it too, right?
Well, yes, but there's quirky people in every field.
That's true. So thank you for this. We'll have to figure out where this flute is and good with your luck with your projects. But I think that we should maybe go check out Luke Help to see because if Tiberius left early, maybe he went and saw a friend before he, ended his day.
Right. Also, it's weird that he would leave early, seeing how he was so under. Like, seems like this Logan guy is
Kind of
was keeping
um,
him. Exactly. Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
yeah. He
Um.
just leaves early, and like something must have happened, obviously.
Right. What if uh, she also mentioned was it Constant that mentioned the castle that they found the flute in? Maybe that'd be interesting
Is it?
too.
Yeah, the castle could provide clues, but I also think that maybe we should talk to Madame Shasha because maybe, if items do go missing, there might be a tracking spell on them or some sort of like way to get items back that we don't
Oh, right,
necessarily
right,
know
right,
about.
right, right. Spells, right. Yeah. Oh, you're so clever. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's talk to Shasha. Yeah.
Okay. So we want to go talk to Sasha and let her know that one of the instruments is missing and see if they have any way to track those instruments or items leaving the wherever they are, the artifact area.
All right. So you head over to Sishat, and she is yeah, I know it's a weird name. And she's kind of scribbling away in a book as she looks up. Hello, did you get all the information that you needed?
Actually, no, we didn't find a lot of the information that we needed, but we did find out some information that you might like to know. One of the flutes that Logan and Tiberius were working on is gone. It's missing from its lot.
And of
Is
course,
there a
at
way?
that moment, Aspen kind of runs up with the box and opens it. Yes, we just found that out. We unlocked the lot and looked in the box, and it was entirely gone. Well,
Yeah, man, Logan can't even keep track of his work.
he's very methodical about everything. If this happened, this must have happened outside of the hours he was working in the lab. Um,
How do you know?
he I've worked with him for a year and a half. I've had him in classes that have come in here to work, things of that nature. I know his personality. He would not have let an item like this be out of place for any reason. Um, so this was most likely some kind of theft. Um, and I will have to get campus security involved, and it is going to be a lot of paperwork.
Right, you guys don't have any alarms and stuff that would have been triggered, or where we could see if it'd been shut off.
Unfortunately, no. Um, the guards and wards that are on the campus itself generally suffice. We only allow trusted people with certain certifications and other things into the lab. They have keys to, there's the only ones who have keys to the lab. Um, and so if something were to happen like this, we could track down a select number of people and investigate there as opposed to anyone. Um,
I mean, we came in with coffee.
yes, but the flute was most likely gone before you came in. And
Right, I'm
people have
just
used
saying.
drink coffee in the lab all the time.
So is there like a sign-in sheet or places that people need to go to the back lot area that would they have to sign their name?
Yes. And she pulls out a book and opens it up and leaves to the last page where there are students that signed in like 2 hours before you all came in. This is the sign-in book. It is unlikely that the thief would have signed in, or would have signed in during hours where they were working, and it would not be suspicious for them to be here.
Well, is there a
Um,
sign in for Logan after Thursday? Because if there is, maybe the flute, maybe he took the flute between Thursday and now.
and she flips through to Thursday and kind of flips through and is scanning the book. No, Tiberius has not signed in. Logan has not signed in since that date either. No, none of the people in the group you are investigating have signed in since then, with the exception of Aspen and Constance today.
Today. Okay,
Everyone else was Thursday.
interesting. Okay,
For
so
the
what do you
whole
want to do?
weekend. Yeah.
Do you want to go? Do you want to go find Lou, or do you have anything else to ask Sashita?
Nah. Nah,
Yeah,
I don't. Lou is
you
fine.
know,
Also, I mean, just a question for the game.
Mhm.
Are we cutting classes right now?
No, classes start on Monday. So this is kind of like Sunday afternoon. So, and then Monday is
So we don't have anywhere
classes.
to be, or
No,
yeah, okay.
unless you have some sort of extracurricular that would have started during spring break or
I
something like
barely
that.
have curriculars,
Very
obviously.
let
true.
alone extras.
Yeah. Um, so yeah, you aren't cutting any classes.
Okay, so I say we go check out the greenhouse to see if Lou's there. See if he can help us. Maybe he saw Tiberius after he got into a fight with Logan on Thursday.
I agree. I agree. And we should check for paper, letter, cutter knives in case
Pieces of paper,
they
yeah,
have the murder weapon of the diary.
the pages. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I'd also like to get rid of these. Should we get rid of the copies, or
Yeah,
should we?
let's just leave him here. Maybe Constance
It's like
will.
maybe we could use one of them for Logan if we do run into him.
I don't know, man. I don't want to play games with Logan. I just want to mess him up, to be honest.
Well, we know he's a dick, but we don't know if he did anything.
Well, that's enough for me. Like, even if he didn't do anything, he's a dick. He needs to be put in his place. He bullied our roommate. That makes us wussies by association.
I guess so. We need to get him and his other bully, Snarl,
Right.
Archon.
It's the bro code.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's go. Let's go find Lou and let's get rid of these coffees. Let's ditch them.
Yeah. So,
All right.
greenhouse.
To the greenhouse. All right. So you head over to the greenhouse, which is more of a area where there are multiple greenhouses. It's just called the greenhouse. There are multiple greenhouses kind of on these dirt paths. Um, there is a lovely fountain at the end of this dirt path where there is a sort of almost cul-de-sac with different greenhouses. It's a very lovely fountain, but it's filled with dirt. Um, obviously hasn't been turned on in years. It has a lovely little urn on the top with a little tiny little fish um, on top. And there are students milling around these various greenhouses. Um, and what would you like to do?
Well, we wouldn't know where Lou is located.
No, not
So,
which specific greenhouse, if he even is at the greenhouse.
right.
And the greenhouses, they're like separate, but they're made of glass, so it's easy to hear through them, right?
They are made out of glass, but a lot of the glass has frosted over from various things like pollen and dust and other things like that. So you can't really see inside. Um, you might be able to hear inside, like if you press your ear up against the glass, but there are students walking around and you might get a lot of questions asked. If you're just going around sticking your ear up to the glass. Um,
Yeah. I want to check some metagamey stuff, which is that I think I am immune or at least have advantage to poison stuff.
I think you have advantage on saving throws against poison.
Yeah. So if we need to go into one of the greenhouses with toxic plants in them, I've got you covered because I'm extra good at them. So
I will say, you being what you are as well, Goliath, you might have either advantage or full immunity to poison.
Yeah, I think I have full immunity.
okay, so we're good. We're good.
So we're
We got
chilling.
this.
Yeah. So is there somebody in charge of the greenhouses who might know? Because if they're always meeting here at the greenhouses, that means Lou comes to the greenhouse often. Maybe whoever's in charge or keeps track of the area knows who Lou is, can point him out to us, or we can just yell. We can
Lou.
just yeah, Lou really loud to see if anybody looks.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I will make a performance check to see how loudly I can yell.
Sure, make me a performance
Isn't
check.
that what you do?
Sure, we'll go with that.
Okay. That is 11 plus a bit more than one because I'm good at performing, I think. Yeah, that is 15.
15.
Hmm.
So you just bellow across the greenhouses as some of the students just stop and
Ooh! Hmm?
look around and just look confused at you and just keep on minding their business
I
as
go
they kind
again.
of
Luke, help!
let me roll something real quick. All right. Um at this point, a vampire girl walks up to you and just, what, I'm sorry, why are you looking for Lou? I don't think he's here at the moment.
Do you know where he is?
Um, let me think. He might be at the infirmary. Um
Oh, is he all
he
right?
well, he works with carnivorous plants and sometimes, they get the better of him. And he also has quite a few meds that he needs to take. So he might be there getting his meds. Um, it is around lunchtime, so I mean, he probably needs to take his meds with food. I don't know. I just, that's all that I know about him. He was just in a few of my classes, a few of my botany classes. Um, so yeah. You might want to check there first.
Okay, man. Thanks. Yeah, it's because we're actually trying to find out what happened to our roommate, our buddy. And apparently he and Lou were real good, real tight. They were close. I don't know if you heard about this morning.
Tiberius.
Tiberius.
Yes.
He came around here a bunch.
Uh, I I think so, but they were just, you know,
We know.
they were just being friends. As far as I'm aware, I didn't really pay attention.
Did Tiberius come here a lot? Did him and Lou just hang out a lot, or was there
I
a reason?
think so, because a lot of people didn't want to work with carnivorous plants. So he's one of the only people that works with them, and so sometimes he would bring Tiberius along just so that he wasn't in the greenhouse alone or in the greenhouses alone. Um, but yeah, so and she points over greenhouses 17, 18, and 19 are all for carnivorous plants. No one really uses 19. It kind of just got a little bit too bulky to have three, and so it hasn't been cleaned out yet. So there's probably a lot of dead plants in there, but 17 and 18 are workspaces for people who work with carnivorous plants. Um,
Okay.
All right. Thank you so
So
much, man.
yeah, thank you. We could either go and check the infirmary, or honestly, like greenhouse number 19 kind of seems, if nobody goes in there ever, and
Yeah,
it's just
that's
like an
sexy.
extra space, that seems like a place that, something shady could have gone on. We could go check there for anything that,
I agree, and we're
might,
here anyway. We're
yeah,
here
we're here
anyway.
anyway. We could see if there's any clues there.
Yeah, and we
Yeah,
already spent like it's almost lunchtime now, you said. So we don't want to burn the oil. Well, yeah, I forget the saying.
that
candle.
daylight oil.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I think we're gonna check greenhouse 19. It shouldn't be that dangerous either if it's just a spare. If
So
17, 18 are overgrown.
you go to greenhouse 19. It is locked with a padlock.
Okay.
Okay. Can
Should
we
can we see through the windows?
No, the greenhouse has been dusted from the inside with pollen like all the other greenhouses. It you cannot see inside at all.
hmm.
Okay.
So we could either, is the lock magical or is it just physical?
It seems like it's just a physical lock, but you are in the middle of basically a cul-de-sac with a lot of students walking around that presumably are aware that Greenhouse 19 is abandoned. And so just popping the lock might not be the best idea. I'm not going to stop you if you're going to try, but
Okay.
just to remind you of your situation.
Right.
Okay.
Um, I want to go in here, but I feel like
So
yeah.
would a strength roll be something that we would use to break the lock?
Yeah, you can make a strength check to smash the lock off the door.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I mean, I've got that handle. I think you do too. But maybe before
I
we
was
we could be a
thinking
bit clever about this. I have two
we could,
plans, okay?
okay, let's
Two
hear
plans.
it.
I have one like a strategy I learned at fencing, which is like we can distract so they don't see it coming. So like I can go and yell Lou again somewhere else, and then you can destroy the lock.
Yeah, but maybe we time it at the same time so your yell kind of, you know,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's clever. That's
yeah,
clever.
like, kind of how they like were like trying to break out of prison, like when the lightning was striking on those movies. So you just need
That
to
that
make a really
exists
loud
in this
noise.
day and
Yeah,
age that all of
yeah,
us have watched. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah, I know.
bad
Um,
movies. We're in them. So yeah, I say that we try to break it, but time it with the distraction so nobody really hears.
okay, okay, but beforehand, do you want to hear my other idea? It's not as
Yeah, let's
good.
hear it. Yeah.
We can go around back and check if there's another entrance
Okay.
before we destroy this one.
Yeah, we could do that. Let's do that first, and then
Okay, okay,
so
good.
we want to investigate the green room to see if there's any other ways in other than the locked door. Maybe a broken window, or maybe we could break a window around the back where it's like less conspicuous and it's not just a lock.
Right. I can still go and yell so it won't be as loud.
Yeah.
Okay,
But it might be easier to break glass than a lock specifically made to keep people out.
right.
Yeah.
Let's investigate.
Yeah. So we want to investigate number 19 to see if there's any other way in.
All right. So yeah, you head round the back of this greenhouse. There is not an entrance. There's not a door. However, since it is a greenhouse, every wall is made of glass. The glass here is still frosted from the inside with pollen, but it's still glass.
Okay. I go to the opposite end of the cul-de-sac and
Create a distraction.
make a distraction. I try to perform again
All
to yell
right.
Lou as loud as I can.
All right. Roll it.
And there you go. Oh, that's even better. This is 16 plus a lot. 16 plus 4, that's 20.
All
Lou!
right.
Lou, help!
And at the
There
same time, I
is,
want to try breaking glass.
give me a strength check.
Okay, so my strength is 15 plus 2.
So yeah, you would add +2 to the roll,
Yeah, and that's just the 20-sided die,
the
right?
d20. Yep.
Yeah, okay. Come on. I got a 1.
All right. So yeah, you take your
And plus 2 is
fist.
3.
But isn't it like one
It's
is
just
like
glass.
you die if it's a one,
No,
basically.
one just is, it is not successful. Um, so I'm gonna say you hit the window, you crack the window, and a tiny piece falls out of it. It does not break.
But we can see through said tiny piece.
Yes, you can
Okay.
see it's probably about a hole this big, so you can kind of look through
Look in
it.
there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Um, yeah, if you want to, you can roll me a
Sorry,
perception check.
such a good distraction for nothing. But yeah, a deception check.
Perception.
Oh, perception. Okay.
Hmm.
Let me see what my thing is. Okay, it's +2. Okay, so I got a 16.
All right.
14 plus 2. Finally.
All right.
Yeah.
So you look into this greenhouse, and there is definitely a lot of dead plants around here. Pots upon pots upon pots of dead plants. Um, you do see there is one in the not quite in the middle of the room, but kind of off to the side that is still moving. It looks like kind of a very large Venus flytrap that is still sort of swaying a little bit, but it's turning brown. It's dying. Um, you also see, if you kind of look around, you don't see what's on this table, but there is a table directly in front of this window. It doesn't look like it's a table like a table that can be shoved. It looks like it's a table that is bolted to the wall that runs across the back of the greenhouse.
Okay.
Again, you can't see what's on the table, but you can see that the table is there from this little tiny crack in the glass.
Okay. So do I want to try, do we want to try like our same plan with the distraction and breaking, or do you want to come try to break it?
I mean, I just wanted to get in there, but I don't know what's happening because I'm all the way
Yeah,
across the
yeah,
cul-de-sac.
you did kind
Right,
of
right,
So
right.
separate the group a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's
So
fine. Mhm. Okay, well, what should I do? Because like the table obviously, so does it look like there's anything on the table, or can I just see that there is a table?
you can see that there is a table.
Okay. Okay. Um, I'd like to try to make the hole bigger so I can see more, but not necessarily such a big action as like smashing the whole window to try to get in.
like nicking at it, kind of.
Yeah, try to just make the hole bigger so I have more,
It would
view of the
still
room.
be a strength check because you're trying to pop the glass out. So if you can make me another strength check.
Okay. Okay, I got 10. 8 plus
All
2.
right. So you do manage to pop a few more pieces out. sort of chipping out the window to make a larger hole. Um, and yeah, this table is bolted to the back. Um, it doesn't seem to have any legs underneath of it. It's just like a floating shelf almost. And on it, you do see there's a lot of dirt, there's a lot of pots. Um, and there's a crumpled up ball of paper that is sitting. You get the sense that this pot was specifically positioned this direction. It was kind of angled towards the back wall, and it had a crumpled piece of paper inside of it that's just sitting right there in front of the hole that you've just broken out of this pane of glass. As if somebody didn't was thinking, oh, everyone's going to go through the entrance. I'm just going to hide it this way because there's tons of pots on the table. But you got really easy access to it because you popped out the back window. It's just right there.
Okay. I'd like to reach in and grab it.
All right, so you grab this piece of paper. While that's happening, I will say you, Adam, yelling at the entrance, um, and looking around, you see a figure kind of come up the path, a Triton wearing overalls, and sort of a white shirt,
Mm-hmm.
kind of comes up this path. And I'm sorry, do I know you?
Oh, yeah, to me. Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, to you, Adam.
Yeah. I'm not just coming up to a path and talking to a random other person. Um, are you Lou? Hey, Lou.
Yeah, why are you screaming for me?
It's kind of awkward. Do you know? You must know my buddy, my roommate, right? Tiberius.
Yeah, I do.
So, we heard that he died this morning. And sorry, I say we. I mean I. That's just me here. No one else. Just me. I heard he died this morning, and I'm super sad about it. And I realized I don't really know him that well, and I want to get to know his friends. And apparently, you guys hung out a lot.
Yes, we did. He kept me company in the greenhouse when we were working. Well, when I was working. I mean, he helped out a little bit, but I guess I'm just still not quite connecting the dots together.
Did he just? You sound like you weren't really that friendly with him.
No, I was. I'm just a little weirded out, like why you suddenly want to talk to me.
It's just like I only knew that he liked puzzles. He had like a bunch of them and he glued them together and I don't even understand why he would glue together a puzzle and like break it so he can do them again. And I figured like maybe people who were closer to him would know, so I wouldn't feel so weird about him being gone and I'm not even being able to ask him these things about his puzzles. You
Give
know?
me a performance check again. You're not directly lying. You do have these questions about him. Um, but you are also very clearly diverting, especially after the we no no I. So give me a performance check.
Okay. Mm, oh, that wasn't as good. It is 8 plus whatever my 8 plus 4. That's 12.
All right. Well, I mean, he probably glued the puzzles together so they wouldn't come apart. I mean, it is kind of an accomplishment to put together a 1,000 piece jigsaw puzzle. You don't always want to do that again, especially if you know the image. I've got some work to do. I'm sorry to kind of shove you off, but I have some work to do.
Can I help you out with your work? Now that I mean, I'd love to
um,
keep you company and see what kind of interests Tiberius had. Like he must have really liked hanging out with you. Can I tag along?
um, no, I'd rather be alone right now. Um,
Oh, I
it's
totally
just
get it, man. I put my arm around him. I also feel a bit sad about everything and want to be alone, you know, and it's just it's so hard.
if you could give me a strength check, because Lou is also going to do a strength check to like try and wiggle out from under your arm.
Okay. Just raw strength.
Yep, just raw
Oh,
strength.
I guess I add. Oh, I'm very strong. So 19 plus 4 equals
Yeah, he rolled an 8
23.
with a -1. So he's like, as you're like almost, you basically almost have him in a headlock as he's trying to push your arm away from him as he's like sort of kicking almost entirely just off the ground, kicking. Whoops, as my dice go everywhere. Um, just kicking, trying to desperately get your arm off of him.
Right. I mean, game-wise, by now, I guess I'm grappling or something, right? But
Yes,
I
that's
am
why I had
actually
the
just
contested
trying to be,
strength check.
yeah, I am trying to be friendly and delay him, kind of. What would I say? Um, you don't have to struggle that much, buddy. Like it's okay. It's tough losing a friend.
At this point, he's just,
You should take some
get
time.
off of me. And he starts like he's starting to make a scene. He is also starting to panic.
Okay.
As
I
he's
want to
like trying
walk
to,
back around. I want to walk around and try to play the good cop and get on
yeah,
his good
I
side
would
and
say
try
at this
to.
point, you probably hear some sort of something going
Mhm.
on that's kind of like, so you pocket the little crumpled up ball and you make your way over.
Okay.
And yeah, you see Adam basically with this Triton in a headlock who's kicking and looks like they're about to panic, just trying to
Okay.
push Adam's arm off of him.
Okay. So I'm gonna be like, hey, what are you doing? Let go of him. And
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
guess
mean,
I'll
I'm
do that.
sorry, man. Sorry. I'm trying to. It's been a rough day. Okay.
No, what's wrong with you? Don't just go grabbing people like that. Are you okay, Luke? Or are you okay? I don't know his name.
Um, he's just a little stunned. He just goes, "No, I'm, I'm going home." And he just turns and starts walking very quickly away. You also notice that you've started to draw a little bit of a crowd of people who are kind of just looking over at this whole interaction that's going down,
Yeah. I yell,
and
"Sorry,
just
Lou."
and people just eventually start moseying on back to their business.
Okay. So we kind of screwed up our loot thing. I mean, we got as much information as we could now, but I would like to see what's on that piece of paper.
All right. Yeah. So you bring out the ball of paper, and as
Mhm.
you start uncrumpling it, you notice there are exactly 3 pages that have all been balled up together. And it's
Oh,
actually interesting. It's interesting, quite interestingly, quite a large ball. As you open it up, sitting in the middle of it, as if it's been crumpled into the paper, is a tiny corpse. It's a humanoid, arms with hands with 5 fingers, legs with human feet or humanoid feet, a humanoid head. It's very clearly, very quickly rotted. It's basically all musculature and the skin looks like it's basically rotted off, and it has a pair of insect wings off of its back. And it's just sitting in the center of this ball of paper.
Okay.
Gross.
So I can I cast a spell on it? Spare the dying. Or spare the dying.
It is already dead. It would not work.
Okay. But it has 0 hit points, right?
It is dead. That is different than having 0 hit points.
Okay. Okay, just kidding.
But
Yeah,
you
once you're
might be able to
dead, you
talk
don't
to
have
dead
0
or
hit points, you
something,
have no hit points.
No hit
So
points. Okay.
right? Because you're Paladin, right? So can't you talk to
possibly
So
not
the...
at 5th level.
Okay.
6, but true.
Oh, 6th.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's just a little creature with wings, so possibly a fairy. Maybe. I don't
Would
know.
we know?
If you two could make a nature check,
Hmm.
that would definitely tell
Wow.
you.
I definitely know. It's what you call it, a 20. Um, I rolled a 20. Isn't that the
Oh,
best thing?
wow.
Yeah.
I rolled an 11.
Okay, so you probably wouldn't know, but Adam, you would know. Yeah, this is a fairy of some kind. Things in the valley don't typically have wings unless they are insects or bats or something like that. Um, but yeah, this is definitely some sort of fey creature. It is not from around here.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there anything on
I shared
the
this,
paper?
of course.
Okay. Wow, it's a
Uh,
fairy. We haven't seen many of those out here. I wonder where it's from.
I mean, I've heard of the tooth fairy before. It's kind of creepy, but not this one doesn't have any teeth with her, with him. It's
Day, whatever.
yeah.
All of the above. Okay. Is there anything on the pieces of paper that it was crumpled up in?
Yes, there is writing on the paper.
Okay.
Um,
Can I understand what it says? Or...
yes, it is written in common, and it has a diary entry at the top. It has a date at the top. The first page is it basically runs through it mentions a flute in the lot as you realize this is Tiberius's diary. These are the 3 pages that were
Yeah,
ripped out of
there's just 3
Tiberius's
pages.
diary. It mentions the flute. It mentions that the flute was made of both wood and crystal, and it was mentioned that the flute had tiny little mouse motif that was spiraling down it. Tiberius thought this was rather strange, and so went and cross-referenced a bunch of stuff in the library late at night and came across a story of a fey being known as the Pied Piper that would lead rats away for a price. A village didn't pay that price. He led their children away. They'd never found the children again. He mentioned that he would bring it up to Logan and that they should investigate farther into what the flute might be able to do. The second page basically reviews the argument that Logan and Tiberius had. Tiberius is convinced that this thing is magical, that this thing is dangerous. He describes the argument where they just go back and forth. It's very clear that neither of them want to change their minds. And then he mentions that he went to see Lou at the greenhouse. And while they were discussing it, a creature that he refers to as a sprite came, attacked them, and Lou smashed a pot over it and killed it. The next day, Tiberius mentions he is convinced that these things are after him, that these little sprites are after him, that they're connected to the flute, that the Fae want the flute back, but he's unsure if the flute should be returned to the Fae because it controls rats. There are were-rats. There are a lot of rats in the valley. He's wondering if this would cause some sort of attack on the valley or whether or not the Fae would use it against them as monsters of the valley. And so he is convinced that something's going to happen. He describes a plan to steal the flute and hide it somewhere. There's a few really odd words, like at the bottom of the page, there's a few odd selections of words. Um, there is like mermaid, fish, um, pot, vampire, a few other of these words. All of them are crossed out except for fish that has been circled. Um, and that seems to be where it ends, basically saying, if I die, it was the Fae.
Nope.
And that's everything that's in these 3 pages. And then there's the little Fae creature that was crumpled up inside of it.
Okay. Okay. So at this point, we kind of have an idea of like possibly how he died, according to him. And we have, proof that there are Fae. So maybe do you want to go maybe ask um, someone who might know more information about, his body, like Salisa, who like gave the announcement this morning?
Yeah, at least I want to go share this with Talisa,
Yeah. See
because
if they know.
yeah, because I they're still investigating, so
Yeah,
maybe
it's
they
either
also
that
know
or like
something else. But at least
it's
we
either
know something now. The
yeah,
the sprites did it. The Fate did it.
yeah. 'Cause it's either that or find Logan.
I
But
don't.
I don't
Yeah,
think we have any leads on Logan as of right now.
no. Other than that castle where they found the flute.
Yeah. And
Um,
and just wondering, was it those two specifically or the group that found the historical instruments in the castle, or was this just like the instruments were like delivered to the artifact lab and there was another group of people who
There was another group of people that found the items. Um, there is a difference between, you would probably know because Tiberius talks about it. There's a difference between the expeditions and the lab work. Tiberius wanted to be on the lab work side. So those are like the historians that actually sit down and investigate the items and find all that stuff. The expedition crew just collects everything of value from various locations and brings all of that back to the lab. Um, you need a lot of training for both, so that you're not just bringing back like random rocks, but also to be able to preserve it, to identify it, to cross-reference it, things of that nature. He definitely wanted to be part of the lab work, so they would have had the lot delivered to them due to their senior project subjects, such as Logan specifically wanting to deal with musical instruments of the valley. It was likely that because this lot contained only musical instruments, that it was given to him as a sort of study um, project or as part of that sort of thing. After it was brought in, it probably hadn't been touched by anyone except the archaeologists. Um, and so that's probably what happened. Logan probably didn't go to the castle at all. This was just brought to them as a lot and given to them.
okay. Okay, so yeah, I think we should go back to what's her name and just show her what we found with the phase and the diary entry.
right. I agree. Let's go talk to Lhasa.
So you of course would know where the headmaster's office is. Um, and you make your way over to it and knock on the door. Um, it is in kind of a bunch of offices around. where like student services would be and other things like that. So there is a lot of sort of hustle and bustle around it. But you knock on the door, and Thalassa does open the door, and she pokes her head out. Oh, hello. Would you like to speak with me about something? I am a little bit busy at the moment.
Right, we have some clues.
Regarding
Tiberius.
Oh, of course. Come on in. And she opens the door, walks in. It is a very lavish office. A lot of ornamentation, a lot of gold, a lot of mahogany wood, a lot of very fine carpets and tapestries and that sort of thing. Um,
Can we sense if she's like annoyed or if she's actually busy, like if she was lying to us or
you can make an insight check if you'd like.
yeah. Um, I'm not good at insight. 8.
Yeah, it she doesn't seem like she's lying. It seems like she is not annoyed. She is not excited to get clues, but she is relieved to have a lead of some kind.
Okay. I want to check around the room, just to look around the room to see if there's any evidence of her possibly having a connection to the Fae.
Um, okay.
Maybe that
Make me a
she.
perception check just to like scan around the room.
Okay. I got a 22.
All right, yeah, you look around the room. There is not really any specific thing that sticks out as like wings or fairies or anything of that nature. Just a lot of ocean imagery, a lot of like seashells and waves and things like that. She is a Triton after all. Um, and at this point, she kind of sits down and so you said you had a lead on the death of Tiberius.
Yeah, like actually, can I ask you something real quick before?
Mhm.
Um, how do you know for sure that he's dead?
We did find his body. We didn't want to announce that, um, in case there were morbid gawkers. Um, However, we did find his body.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. Like we weren't close, but like we were roommates still. I like them. So we've been doing a little digging, right? And I know you're not supposed to do it, but we found these like we looked in his diary um and saw that like first of all we see if you know what Logan Silch is up to because he's mysterious, okay? He's suspicious. But we found these. Do you want to show them?
Yeah.
You're the one who
So
found them.
yeah, we found these 3 pages of his diary that were torn out, specifically stating that if he did go missing or if he did end up dead, that it was creatures that were after a flute that he was investigating with Logan, the Fae, and we also found this like corpse of a Fae that he had killed Thursday. So I'm guessing it was on Thursday.
And she takes a look at the little corpse that is sitting in on the desk.
Oh, we
And
brought the corpse. Good.
I assume, yeah, I
It's
assumed
like
you
this
brought the
Fae.
corpse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I did.
Cool.
Um, just a tiny little, yeah.
Mhm.
And yeah, she looks down at it. Well, that would explain some things. Um, we found him in the woods, um,
Like
kind of
the
near where the greenhouses are. There's some, I'm
um
sure you've seen it. We found his body there, And it
Aren't
seems
those the
that
woods where there's a lot of werewolves around? Or is it the
it's
other
more of
ones?
goblins and hobgoblins and owls and things like that. But
Okay.
the most important thing that this might explain a little bit about is we found that he had been shot with an arrow.
Oh.
Um, and I actually have the arrow here. And at first we found it quite concerning, but now that we have a little bit more evidence, I think we can conclusively say that it is the Fae. And she opens her drawer and places on the table a golden arrow. It is human size, like what you would shoot from a human-sized bow. And it is made entirely of gold. Beautiful, sort of vine-like designs with leaves and flowers along it. Even the fletching is solid gold. And she just lays it on the table. It almost seems to have an aura around it that is just not of this world. And she just takes a moment. If it is the Fae, then that would explain where this arrow came from. The fairy most likely shot him. And you mentioned there was a flute. And at this moment, the door crashes open, and you hear people running. Um, Not fast, not like they're under attack, but just something happened outside. Madam, it seems a student has has died. How
We know.
No, it's Logan. I bet you.
how how did they die? They were shot with a golden arrow. And at this point, we draw the episode to the close. So join us next week as we figure out what is going on with this golden arrow business. So I will see you all next week, and I will see the rest of you in 5 minutes.